Well, here we are in Bud's gun shop doing a next episode of the radio show, and we're sitting in front of these people over here. They haven't moved in a really long time, though, so...
Well, they're fixated on those firearms.
Yeah, I mean, look at that guy. He still has that same look on his face that he's had the whole time we've been sitting here.
That's right.
So
they're still looking at the same pistols there.
Yeah, the guns don't seem to be moving off the shelf very fast. So
that's true. Hopefully. But well, they're just kind of frozen. You know how it is when you see a firearm you like. That's just the way it goes. But yeah, we're happy to be here at for this radio show, Gun Culture Radio, whatever we call it. At Bud's Gun Shop, we've done this a time or two. And
it's the second time, I think, right?
Yeah. It's nice to have a really just open environment for the radio show. We're normally in your den, or in my reloading room or somewhere, which is nice too.
Well, we did the one with Steve Lee where we were out there on the porch. That was fun.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, we need to do that again. That was cool.
That was fun. I don't think we've ever had this many people though sick enough to sit and watch a radio show. You think? Okay.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, so we are at Bud's and here by kind of the fireplace and everything, and in the shooting range over there, we can see people over there shooting, and the folks renting firearms to them and all that good stuff. And then some of our most loyal viewers. I don't know if they're the most intelligent viewers because they came early, and some of them have driven a long way. Louisiana, Indiana, North Carolina, Virginia. How sick can you be? And they're here already because we're going to do a little meet and greet when we finish yakking our radio show. But it's their fault. We advertised, the schedule, radio show first.
They didn't have to come, but they did.
That's right. I think maybe they're coming to borrow money or something, or ammo.
Probably.
They're coming for ammo. That's what it is. They're coming to borrow some ammo.
Yeah.
But we appreciate them.
Those are the worst, in gun shops when you have those people that like come out of some creepy corner and they're like, "Hey man, I need a couple of bucks for ammo. Just a couple bucks."
That's right.
I just need to shoot. I just got half of a magazine and I need to finish it.
That's right.
And I just need a couple bucks.
I'm homeless. I'm ammoless. I need just a little ammo to get me home. Yeah. But that's probably what it is.
That's just part of it, though.
But we appreciate you all being here, even if we do kind of ignore you part of the time. We really do appreciate the viewers. That's why we're here, why we're able to do this. And it's continually amazing to us to see you folks and hear from you every day, and all the many messages of appreciation and everything else, questions. We appreciate you all more than you appreciate us, because we do this for our job more or less because of you all. And we especially appreciate you weirdos who came this early. It's amazing. Even Matthew, we have a youngster here. He's 13 years old. He's going to stand up maybe and ask a question later and tell us about his girlfriends at school in the 8th grade. You know how that was when you're in the 8th grade. He says he has more girlfriends than he can keep up with. But anyway, so yeah, we're at Bud's, and this is pretty informal, of course, because we're informal people. And we're just going to talk about some things like we normally do. We may even touch on firearms. And we appreciate Bud's giving us the opportunity to set up right here in there at their fireplace here that you can't see. It's kind of covered up, but nice spot.
And you're going to try not to just sit over there and do a shoot the breeze.
That's right. So anyway, what have we been doing, John?
Well, first of all, setting this up took forever, and I actually enjoyed setting this stuff up a lot of times, but. We ran into a couple of problems where I very meticulously, I knew I was going to forget a cable. I just knew it. I knew I was going to forget a cable. And I meticulously put everything together the night before and had everything packed up and ready to go. Came by my house, packed everything up, left. We were going to eat yesterday, and I realized, wait a minute, I forgot the board. And so I had to go and buy another one. And I just made up something in my head to justify it and say this will be my travel board. So, so it took a little getting used to figuring it out and stuff. And so we couldn't get it to record on the computer for some reason. And that took about 45 minutes of experimentation to try to figure that out. But eventually we figured out it was apparently the mute clip button blocks it from transferring the audio onto the computer. So
the mute button?
Yeah, I thought it's for clipping. It keeps the mic from clipping, but it I don't know, it didn't. But this board's different from the one I got at home, so that was the problem.
It was on the board was the problem.
Yeah, it was the board.
Okay, because I had some problems with Audacity with just running through the earphones. I was using there for a while, And it was like there was no logic behind why it wouldn't work.
Yeah, it was the same thing. I checked everything along that line to where it was feeding in through the computer with the USB connect, but everything was fine except the muting thing apparently. So.
Well, who figured it out? You? I was busy talking with these strange people. I didn't really.
Well, I sort of did by default. I was just like, I've tried everything else, so I'll just do this, and then.
Typical technology. Yeah, it's like in the old days, the early days of the PCs. They were always glitching out or something, so you just have to reboot.
Yeah,
and that would usually fix it.
Yeah.
For the time being.
Well, unfortunately, with this, where it's kind of analog, it doesn't really change anything when you turn it off. But isn't that funny how? Like it doesn't matter how advanced technology gets, just turn it off and turn it back on will always be like the way to fix everything.
It does, and I think a lot of, when I was teaching, you're well aware, we had the laptop program, and I went through 20 years of my students having laptops, and in the early days of that, especially, you just turn them off, reboot them, and it would often it would fix whatever the problem was. But in the recent years of my teaching, things had progressed to the point where the laptops have really progressed, as we all know, in the last 10 years. And you just didn't have that many problems with them. And it's funny, these were seventh graders, and they would just leave them on all the time. Something you just never thought about back in the old days, especially with the laptop, you just turn it off. But they would leave them on all night, all day, recharge them when they needed to, and they would just never turn them off.
Yeah.
And we discovered that sometimes we didn't have many problems. We had an IT department and everything. I didn't have to do all the fixes anymore. And I'd sometimes say, well, it is getting kind of weird, it's slow, or acting up on you. I said, when did you turn it on this morning? Was it doing it yesterday, or was it working when you turned it on this morning?
Right.
And they'd look at me like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
Like I even had it turned off. Did they turn off? What I mean? It's like, so we'll just reboot it. And they say, well, what's that mean? What I mean? It was so funny. So they would turn it off and back on. That would fix it sometimes.
Yeah.
And I forget that about with phones are the same way.
Yeah.
Used to be you turn your phone off occasionally. Now I'll go, I haven't turned my phone off in about a week. And sometimes I'll just do that. And I don't know, I think it kind of clears.
Well, I think computers are similar to like how our own brain is. Like if it's on for too long, for real though. I'm serious. Like it gets kind of weary because I forget what it's called, but it just needs to be rebooted. Like I've known some people that.
That's why you're unconscious part of the time, right?
Yeah, exactly. I know some people, like real techie people, they'll tell you just leave your computer on all the time, but just restart it often.
Yeah.
But never actually shut it down if it's a good computer and it stays cool and everything.
Yeah, and that's the same thing. It kind of clears it, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's amazing how well that works sometimes, though.
That's right. When all else fails, well, of course, you have a little bit of an excuse because before we drove over here, we left early yesterday morning. The day before, you had gone to Atlanta to see a comedian.
Yeah. And
then driven back, got in at 1:30 or 2 in the morning, then got up at 6 or something, and then we drove over here. So you were.
Yeah, it was a guy from think it was like episode 22, Duncan Trussell. Yeah, I went and saw him in Atlanta. Yeah. Talked to him for a minute after the show and stuff. So.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I've listened to him before.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Went to a place called the Laughing Skull in Atlanta. Yeah. So it said it's the smallest comedy club I think in the world maybe, but at least in the country. And it's like the smallest operational comedy club where they have like big acts that come there and stuff. Mm-hmm. It's really cool. I mean, it's very little. I mean, it's like just this section right here. Yeah. And you're right there on the stage and everything. It's really cool.
That's neat. That's interesting. They can boast at being the smallest comedy club in the world.
And it's not really a bad thing.
I know. We could open up a gun shop. Hey, we don't have much money. We could start a gun shop and have 3 guns, and no accessories. And we could just say, the smallest gun shop in the world.
Yeah.
On the front.
Or like a gun shop. It's like you ever been to those gas stations where they've got they call it like the beer cave, where you walk in there and they got all the beer in this little back room in there. And but like that, you just like a big closet. You just go in there and they got guns all over the walls. Could work.
In the beer cave?
They should do that. Yes.
Yeah, that'd be good.
But
gosh. So anyway, you had a little bit of an excuse there. You were
Which I'll go ahead and say, like, one reason people who listen to the show may have noticed I haven't been putting the episodes up as often as I had been because I've been really busy. And the thing that I've been doing, I've been doing stand-up comedy, and I haven't really told anybody this yet. But the Laughing Skull, I'm actually going to be there doing an open mic on November 18th. So the show starts at 7:30. Anybody can look it up online to go to laughingskull.com or whatever the website is. But I'll be down there doing 5 minutes. If I have 5 minutes worth of good stuff.
So are you going to be really funny?
No, well, it's going to be really bad. It's going to be embarrassing, but it's okay.
Let me know if you're going to be funny, and I might come hear you.
Yeah.
But you're going to talk about guns?
I don't know.
Better not. Comedy club.
I got a few ideas, but I'm keeping those on the back burner for now. But I've been doing that for, I guess, like 3 months now, something like that. So,
yeah, I think it has.
Yeah,
been.
I've been doing that locally, and it's a lot of fun. It's the thing that's exciting about it is I'm kind of a risk taker, just kind of how I am. And usually when you take a risk, it can burn.
It's risky.
You. Yeah, exactly. It can burn you just as bad as how good the thing that you want is.
Yeah.
And the cool thing about comedy is, as long as you have your pride in check, you can't really get burned that bad, But it feels great when you go up there and it's going well and people are laughing and stuff. It's a great experience. But the fact that that you could go up there and people just look at you like why are you wasting our time with you
like my
standing up
students
there?
used to look at me like that.
Yeah. I mean, it's a pretty crappy feeling, but it's not as bad as it is good when you work really hard and put together some stuff that people really enjoy. It's a lot of fun.
Right. So you say there's not much risk as long as you don't care whether you're not funny or not. Right?
Exactly. Yeah. The bad part is all up to you. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's amazing. I could never do that. I don't think. Wow. Well, that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah, so that's November 18th.
November 18th. Well, maybe there's a couple of people in Atlanta that listen and might show up.
Yeah, and it's not
heckle you.
Yeah, and I want to be clear. It's not actually a show. I'm not actually putting on a show. It's just
you're
an
not
open
a professional comic, right?
Yeah, it's just an open mic. So
okay.
Yeah,
that's cool. That's cool. That's one of the. That I was amazed when you started doing that, son, because everybody probably heard me know. Always embarrassing John. It's a problem working with his dad. When he was young, John was young. You were, of course, shy. I was too. And now you actually get on a stage and try to be funny.
Yeah. Well, it's not like the thing is, there's so many misconceptions about it. It's not like people think. Mm-hmm. I've actually known some people. There's lots of people who think, like, oh, they're the life of the party kind of person. They're always funny. You can just go up there and be funny. It's not the same. You don't have the context. Like, you literally have to just conjure up everything about on your own. So it really just comes down to hard work.
Comes down to writing good jokes.
Yeah, exactly. And then, like, you'll hear comedians talk about it. You tell someone you're a comedian or whatever, and they're like, oh, be funny. Yeah. It doesn't work that way. I mean, it's like there's a process to it, and it has to be in a certain environment. Like, comedy doesn't work in any. You can't just show up in a place where there's a bunch of people and then just all of a sudden be funny necessarily. It's like you have to be expecting it and knowing. It's more complicated than it seems.
Right. It's a creative process. Creating the jokes, the stories that are funny. However they're delivered, there's some humor there or something amusing.
And sometimes it misses and you don't know. Yeah. I've done stuff that worked really well on some nights and done the exact same thing on another night and it didn't do that well. So it just depends on like who's there. Yeah. And just how it hits, and that's why you do it a lot because you never know what little detail makes the biggest difference.
But it's not easy to get up in front of people. I was about to say that the number one fear of most people in any survey is getting up and speaking in front of people, and a lot of people just fear that more than anything.
Because our pride is so important to us, So it's like you have to almost set a little bit of that aside. And just go, you know what? I worked hard at this thing that I'm going to do, and I know what I want to say. If they don't like it, it doesn't matter.
Whether people laugh or not.
Yeah, you just got to not care.
Yeah, I guess that's how I taught so many years, because I didn't care whether people like Matthew liked what I had to say or whether they thought it was funny or whether they were interested. You're going to hear this.
I mean, you want people to like it, of course, but you've got to be, you get what I'm saying.
That's true.
And you could say that all day, but when you go out there and no one laughs at your jokes, you don't feel good. It's not like you're like, it's fine. It's not a big deal.
That's right.
And you tell yourself that, but.
That's right. What else have we been doing? Whoa, Knob
Everything.
Creek. Knob Creek.
Man.
Yeah, we went to Knob
Creek is I love going up there.
For those who don't know what Knob Creek is, it's where they have a machine gun shoot every 6 months up in south of Louisville, Kentucky, and it's an incredible experience. If you've never been to it, you need to go.
It's great. They say it's one of the largest machine gun shoot in the world. I think probably people-wise, as far as the people that show up, maybe. But I think there's one out west, Big Sandy or something like that. I think they do a little bit crazier stuff. But oh man, it's great. I shot some people may have seen the video, but I shot I called it a snub nose 50 M2 machine gun.
Yeah, I saw that.
Because some guy had one up there that he cut the barrel off literally like 2 or 3 inches past the heat shield. So, the whole, well, of course, the gun part is pretty big, but the barrel is like that long on the thing. So it's insane.
Yeah.
Anybody that shot a short-barreled rifle of any kind, like some little AR pistol or something like that, the concussion of that when you shoot a rifle round out of a short barrel, or like the M44 Mosins and stuff. Like, take that and multiply it by 10, and that's how it felt to shoot that thing. It was insane.
Yeah, you could just feel the concussion from the video. It's just incredible.
Man. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. We saw the night shoot.
Yeah.
I actually got a room there and stayed the night and watched the night shoot, and they had the minigun. The guy on the minigun, he cut loose on that thing. I swear it was like a 30 or 40 second burst, which with a minigun is like an eternity.
That is.
It was unbelievable. I couldn't believe how long he just held down on that thing.
Wow.
I call it the laser of death, because that's what it looks like. It's just because you have so many tracers, and usually for the night shoot they don't do the like every third. A lot of times they'll just put straight tracers in there, and it's just a steady red line, and it just tracks all over the place and just disintegrates everything.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing that. I haven't seen a night shoot for a while. Yeah, there were people asking. Of course, I was there in the afternoon asking about why there were no miniguns. So he came in later, huh? Or they just didn't bring
maybe
it
he
out?
did. I guess he did. Yeah.
Must have for the night shoot.
Yeah,
planning the big event. So
yeah, I can't imagine the money that goes into the ammo to feed those things.
Oh man.
Well, probably what he does though, he probably saves it, just collects ammo all year, and then twice a year goes and shoots it there.
It's not like go out and shoot that every weekend or anything.
Yeah, it probably is involved to set it up.
Well, just to move it and set it up. Yeah.
Think about your neighbors. If you have one of those.
Oh yeah.
Fired it off.
They're like a chainsaw. just constant. But
yeah,
that was cool. I went too, but then I went to the gun show in Louisville on Sunday. Yeah. So we both had a big firearms weekend, no doubt about it.
Oh, I shot the UMP 40, which I got one right back there.
Oh yeah,
I recommend it to anybody. It's awesome.
Yeah,
nice, slow, chugging along kind of rate of fire. It's really cool. Yeah. It's not like grease gun slow, but it's seems slower than MP5. Maybe it's not, but it just seems slower.
And it's 9mm, right?
I think it's.
Or is it?
I think it's 40.
Is that why it's called MP40?
I think so. UMP 40. I think so.
Yeah. It sounds like a stupid question, but sometimes that's just the model.
I can't remember the UMP 40 if there's a UMP 45 or if the UMP 40 is 45. But I think it's 40.
So you fired it, and you don't even know what caliber. Of course, they load it for you.
They hand it to you.
Yeah, they hand it to you and all that.
Yeah.
But it is neat to be able to rent firearms like that. If anybody's never been there, you can pay your money. It's not cheap, but what, 50, 60, 80, $200, depending on what you fire, you can go. Well, like here, I don't know what it costs here, but you can fire from an array of choices, machine guns.
Well, what's cool here is, usually at Knob Creek or most machine gun rental places, if you don't know anything about what the price is going to be, you can pretty much guess it's going to be around double what the ammo would cost for you to shoot that gun.
Yeah.
Here they have a pretty cool thing where it's a little bit more expensive than that on the front end, but yet they'll allow you to shoot your own ammo through it. Like you can buy ammo, so really it ends up being about the same for 30 minutes or whatever the guy said yesterday. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's good. You shoot more.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it seems more expensive on the front end, but you just buy some ammo and they'll let you shoot it, so it ends up being cheaper.
That's cool. So
yeah,
what
machine
else?
guns and full auto stuff it's sad that people don't get a chance to enjoy them.
Yeah.
Like they should, but man, they're fun.
Yeah, they are. They are fun. Probably overrated in most cases, but
not
fun.
the fun isn't. You had those people that they get on their high horse about like I'm full auto, I'm over it. It's whatever. Yeah. It's like, but it's fun. Anyone who doesn't find it fun, there's something wrong with them.
That's true. If you like shooting, you're going to find full auto fun. You know, whether you, I guess some people probably look at it and think, oh no, that. We'll fire how many rounds in a second? What would that cost? They're calculating the cost of it and everything. I don't want any part of that. Yeah. And I understand that because it's expensive. But still, anybody who likes to shoot, if you ever fire something like that, it is fun.
To me, it's the same. It's like the same mentality. Like those people who they're over full auto. It's like if someone was like, "Here, do you want to drive this new Corvette that I got?" No, not fuel efficient, possibly maybe even unsafe. Just no.
Don't even want to try it.
Yeah, no, it's not practical.
Yeah, that's true. And I'm not crazy about full auto, but it's fun. I wouldn't mind having, as we've shared. I had an Uzi, for 10 years, of course, you fired. And then let someone talk me out of that, a dealer. But if I were ever going to have another one, I lean towards the AK. I wouldn't mind having a real
cool.
AK someday. Probably
Yeah.
never will. They're so expensive, and it's kind of why? I don't really need that. I can go pay at Knob Creek or here or somewhere like that and just shoot one sometime. But I don't know. It's just neat. You would rather have an M2 probably if you had one full auto.
I don't know. It's a tough call because, the M2 you can buy the semi-automatic ones, and like a third of the price. Still expensive, like $9 or $10 grand. But you can get pretty close to the real thing. So I don't know. It'd be a tough call if I could only have one. I'm not sure what I would get. I may get an AR or something. I don't know.
An AR?
Yeah.
Oh man. Gosh.
Well, at least like if you had a fully automatic AR, there'd be so much you could do with it. Just because you could put all different uppers on it and maybe change calibers and all that kind of stuff.
Well, that's true. Once you got the lower,
Yeah.
the paperwork on that.
Yeah, you could probably switch it to 9mm, no problem, and all that.
Yeah. I guess it'd be cool to have one with a fun switch on it. You could flip every now and then.
Yeah.
I don't. The current issue M4s though, some of them don't even have the fun switch, do they anymore? I mean, for the military,
It varies. I mean, how you talk
they went
to.
through a 3-round burst, and then some of the special units I know do.
Yeah. I've heard that they're going back to full auto or something like that, or I don't know. Different people have told me different things.
I know it really depends on the unit. I think as much as anything, but I'm not so sure about what they're offering some now.
Derek told me that I forgot. He'll have to tell you the story sometime. I'll ask him about it next time he's on the show. But they helped some other unit out, or they did something, and the guy really appreciated what they did. Oh, when he was in, I think it was Iraq the second time. And the guy was like, anything you need, I got it. Like, you just let me know what you guys want. And they were like, Thompsons, we want Thompsons. And the guy was like, you got it. And he left, and he came back with a crate full of M4s that were straight full auto.
Oh man.
So,
wow. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
That would.
It's fun stuff. I mean, like you said, I know that they don't have the as much practical application as people would like to think. But then it's like why not though? Like I don't know. I mean, 3-round burst. I've never used it, but 3-round burst seems useless to me.
Yeah.
I don't know.
If you needed full auto, it's like anything else. Then you would really need it.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're probably not, maybe, or very rarely. But yeah, in the military especially, why not?
Yeah.
Unless they just don't trust the soldiers with it.
We'll train them.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, they have a gun anyway, so it's not like.
Yeah.
It's like, we trust you with a rifle and all these grenades and all these other things, but I don't know, this whole switch where it fires a lot of rounds, I don't know.
You could
we don't
hurt
trust you with
somebody.
that.
You could hurt somebody.
Yeah.
Well, they don't let them carry them around on base, or a handgun, or I think that might be changing though.
Yeah.
So,
that's the thing. It's like just train them better. If that's your problem.
Yeah, really.
But it's like anything. Like the overwhelming majority always has to suffer because of the louder, more noticeable minority.
Right.
They can't handle something or does something wrong.
Because somebody somewhere might misuse it or have a problem with it, or something. But,
exactly. And one thing I hate, I told you this the other day, I started noticing that not once have I ever heard someone tell me this type of thing. No one has ever come to me and said, you know what, it used to be so strict over here in this situation. It was so strict back in the day, but man, it's getting so much looser now, and it's like it's a lot easier to do that, and it's just, I don't know, it's just not as big of a deal. Like no one ever says that. It's always the opposite. Every single thing you can think of, it's constantly is getting
constant tightening up.
Yeah, it's getting tighter and more regulated. Like Knob Creek. Those guys were like, oh yeah, they used to have more explosions, and and it's not as much anymore. Everything, every single experience of my life, every single thing as time goes on, it's getting tighter and tighter and tighter. Like, when are people going to finally realize, like, stuff is going to happen?
Right.
Just because of one thing that happened, we can't start just, having a knee-jerk reaction about everything. Otherwise, everything's going to be so regulated.
Yeah.
And, you got to fill out a 7-page document just to have a conversation with somebody.
And that you're right. It's everywhere in the world and in society, because that's kind of the way things evolve. It seems, whether it's in schools or anything, it's just sort of the nature of things, and it's not always good. Whether it's because someone stuck bubble gum on the chalkboard at school or something. You can't shoot.
Yeah, that wouldn't be as bad as
whatever it
sticking a gun
is.
on it.
Yeah, it's because somebody abused something, and then everybody, we got to cut that out. And it's a progression of that,
Yeah.
really.
Because
And,
somebody is going to eventually abuse everything in every
right,
way imaginable.
exactly.
Eventually.
That's the point. Somebody is, or even two or three somebodies. And as a society, as people, as a group, whatever it is, school, civilization, city, political organization, whatever it is, it's like firearms. Obviously, somebody's going to abuse them,
Yeah.
and any type of them. And we really have this mindset, this philosophy beforehand, and know that, and be aware of that. Not be like the anti-freedom, the gun banners, and think, oh my God, someone abused that gun, let's ban them. We got to have a mindset that allows us to accept that. Okay,
Yeah.
somebody tomorrow is going to do something, or next week or next month is going to do something probably horrific with a firearm.
Yeah.
We need to be ready for that and not say, oh my God, kill the Second Amendment.
Right.
You know? I mean, we know it's going to happen. Somebody's going to do something stupid in Tennessee, probably in Knoxville today, in a car,
Right.
and maybe get somebody killed.
Yeah.
We just know that is going to happen. It's the way of the world, and not immediately start trying to restrict things because of it.
Yeah. It's kind of like,
It's
remember
a
when that
trade-off.
Yeah, exactly. Like some things are going to happen. Like in Nashville, was it 2012 when we had that May flood, the big horrible flood?
Yeah, about
in
that,
Nashville.
I guess. Yeah.
And after that happened, everybody was like, "Oh, we got to build up all these huge walls and do all this kind of stuff." And I mean, some element of that maybe makes some sense, but it's like it's 100-year flood. Like this never happens. You know what I mean? Like, is it really that big of a deal? You got along fine for the past 90 years. Without it, it's. So I don't know. There's a balance with that for sure. It's like earthquakes in California. I mean, they make the buildings a little better so they can handle the earthquakes a little better. But I mean, still, if there's a really bad earthquake, it's not going to matter. But it doesn't mean you just not build buildings there because something can happen.
Right. You have to use, here's this phrase. You do need to want to use common sense with that sort of thing. And of course, the anti-gunners have co-opted that phrase too.
Well, what's frustrating is it's so relative.
Yeah.
And the other thing they say too that they'll get me is when they say, and especially lately they've been using this a lot.
Yeah.
Like, and most even shooters, they support common sense gun restrictions.
Yeah, restrictions.
And see, they can say that truthfully because, in a way, it's true because almost all shooters do support some element of weapons restriction, even if it's as broad as like nuclear weapons or plutonium or something. So everyone does support some level of restriction. So in a way, they're not lying, but they're trying to mislead us.
That's right.
By saying like their version of common sense is supported, which is not true at all. And also, if it's so true that most people support the things that they're saying, then why has it been so hard for them to do it for the past 25, 30 years?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Or when politicians, get on there and talk about like, oh, we're just so frustrated, we can't finally get this gun legislation passed that everybody wants and all this. Well, if everybody wants it, then why is it so hard to pass?
Exactly. If enough people wanted it, you would have no trouble passing it. Common sense is relative. My common sense is not the same as your common sense, at least my interpretation of it.
And the thing is, everybody is invested one way or the other when it comes to guns. It's not like what they do is they try to make it sound like the gun issue is like the best example I can think of is the don't buy beer on Sunday rules that some states have and stuff. Like there are very, very, very few people that still think that makes sense. But it's never going to get changed probably because it's not a big enough deal. Like nobody really cares. It's just,
right.
You know what I mean? It doesn't cause a big enough problem. And they think, and they try to make people think, or they think that the guns is like that like no one really, has these assault rifles or really cares about those. We just got to get this stuff passed, and then everything will be fine. But it's not like that. Like, there's a very strong opposition. And they try to make people on the fence think that there isn't.
That's right.
That they're in the majority. That they think that way. So
yeah, there's more. Speaking of the gun rights issue, there's more and more people now though that are aware of what needs to be done, and that we do need to be mindful of the issues we're talking about and take a stand, even if you're not really highly politically active. And I remember my early days of shooting in the 70s, early 70s. there was always that element, and they were trying to at that time ban like Saturday Night Special,
Yeah, like
cheap
snub-nosed
hand
revolvers,
guys
right.
and little guns and all that.
Like the Skinner song.
Yeah. And but I don't know. I used to. I really hard to believe, but I used to really view people that sat around talking about the Second Amendment all the time as okay. You're a little like they were a little bit wacko almost. They were just okay. There's not going to be gun ban. What are you worried about? You know. But it seems like the more you're into firearms and realize, so I can kind of identify with the people who just buy their guns, they go shoot, and they don't want to hear about the Second Amendment all the time, and and they think, oh, that's never going to happen. I can understand to some extent their obliviousness or their cluelessness to it in a way.
Right.
I think I was almost there too, but it was a different time. It was before the shootings, before they really got energized with the Stockton, California, I think is when the schoolyard shooting out there in California in the 90s or whenever. When things started happening like that, and they really got motivated. And everybody has to be motivated to a sense, but there's still so many people that they just don't think about that, and they're not tuned in at all, and they don't realize that the only reason we're able to buy the things that we see around here and go shoot these things at Knob Creek is because there are a lot of people that are fighting that fight. Lots of attorneys that we fund through our donations to the gun rights groups. And that's really the reason. It's not accidental. It's the same reason you make your house payment every month. It's because you go to work every day, or your car's running because you keep it up. I mean, it has to be maintained. I really grew to understand that much, much better in the 80s as I kind of matured but it's just one of those things. You have to stay aware and awake and what's going on and what the fight is.
Yeah, that, and also the fact that guns are so much more mainstream now. Like we were talking about this yesterday, right? That gun shops like this, even you see them a lot now, and there used to never be stuff like this ever.
Right. Yeah.
Like Nashville alone has quadrupled, and that's the biggest version of that I can think of. Yeah. But there's a lot of gun shops, a lot of new ones in Nashville. Oh, yeah. They just popped up like crazy.
Yeah.
There used to be like a couple of little ones, and they were small, and
Right. Yeah, much more mainstream.
And ARs and stuff. It used to be go in, be a couple or three maybe on the wall or something, but like come to a place like here and they got 50 of them or something.
That's right, and this is the diversity of shooters. And as you look around at all these funny-looking people here, you see all age groups, and see females and goofy little eighth graders, and you just a variety of people. People with their families come in here and shoot. I know some gun shops like this. I don't know if they do that. They have like leagues, like a bowling alley, and a date night. And,
I think too, people, even people that didn't grow up with guns, they weren't necessarily exposed, to guns in the right ways. They see these mass shootings, these things that are happening. Like I can see people, kind of getting a mentality like, well, it seems like they're still can't figure out what to do about this. So while they're figuring it out, I'm going to get a gun to protect myself.
That's right.
You know what I mean? And that seems to be to be happening. Like I was telling you, I got a friend in the music industry. He was actually on one of the shows, Ed, if people remember that. But he's in the music industry. And he's got this friend that we went and shot the other day, and he's got a buddy that's a neighbor of his from California and stuff, and he sounds just like Tommy Chong or something, and he's like, yeah, man, he's like, all this stuff over here in Russia, man. He's like, I got to get me something, man. And I was like, I love to hear that. People from all different walks of life, they hear the things in the news and stuff, which how I feel about the news. But but when they hear about these kinds of things like mass shootings and problems abroad and all this stuff, they don't think like, oh no, save me, government. What I mean? They think like, what can I do personally, myself, to better prepare myself for an eventuality, and I love to hear that people make that conclusion instead of saying we need a law to stop this. That doesn't make any sense. Yeah,
I love it. People are, so many things have happened as we've talked about over the last couple of decades. We had the Y2K scare, and we've had, of course, the 9/11. Various things have happened that even those most hardcore anti-gunners, I think, they've had to rethink a little bit. If you're living in an area or anywhere, what would I do if? Right. Could I protect myself or family? What if this happened? What if the power grid went down? A lot of things that are unlikely, but just there's been enough happen that it's just not so totally out of the question anymore. That there could be a situation where, wow, I could be at the mercy of society or whatever. You know, most people are good people.
And even if you are like somewhat anti-gun, let's say, you're kind of on that, got that mentality. Well, I mean, you would think that they would still trust themselves with guns. They might not. They might.
They don't
think
trust you or me, but they trust themselves.
They might think like, well, you know, people shouldn't really have guns. They just, you know, the public can't handle it. You know, that whole elitist attitude.
Yeah.
But you still think they would also think, well, you know, I could handle a gun, and you know, and they would still have to think, well, maybe the police won't always save me every time, so maybe I should have one. Like Bill Maher, for example.
Yeah.
You know, I've heard him say, and while all you crazy people have a gun, I'm going to have a gun. Yes, exactly. You know, like think a little harder about that, and you might get somewhere.
Even though he's basically anti-gun.
Oh yeah, people don't know Bill Maher. He's very outspoken
very
about being
liberal.
anti-gun.
Well, you know, a lot of people are anti-gun for the other people. You know, they want to control what other people do because they're the only ones smart enough to be responsible.
And that's where it stems from, anyways.
Right.
With politicians, I don't know. I have a really, really, really hard time believing that someone capable of doing one of the most difficult things to do in the world is to be elected to public office. That's why there's only a few of them, and it doesn't pay well, so you got to really want it.
Yeah.
That those people are incapable of figuring out basic information about firearms. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
I don't think that. I think most of them, like some politicians, I think are legitimately anti-gun, but like the Schumers and the Feinsteins of the world, like they know what's up. Their bodyguards have guns. They probably got a closet full of guns. You know what I mean? They just they don't trust the people with them because they don't want people to have that much power. That's what it comes down to.
They know the real story.
Yeah, exactly.
So what else do we want to talk about? We're going to talk about some of the history of what we've done here, and maybe get a couple of questions.
Have we done anything here?
Well, not here, but you know, you said you might want to talk about.
I mean, I don't know. I thought it'd be. We talked about, you know, getting into some of that stuff for a long time, and some of the history in the past,
the early days,
and all that stuff. And you know, I recently, you know, when I went down to Georgia to the comedy club. I recently, you know, I met with Eric and those guys from Iraq Veteran 888. 8. How many 8s are in there? There's a bunch of 8s in there.
Too many.
Yeah, there's a bunch of 8s in there. But hung out with those guys, Eric and Chad, really nice guys. And we were talking about that a little bit and stuff, and how, you know, when we got our first T&E gun from Glock back in, what was that, like 2010, you know, how that felt at the time. It felt like a big deal.
Yeah.
But we don't even want to deal with them anymore.
I know.
You know.
Ironically.
Yeah, and stuff like that. And just, you know, we were so blind to the potential of YouTube back then. We had, you know, we were back in our innocence. You know, we had no clue what it was going to be and how big of a deal it could even be. You know, and just plugging away at the videos because, you know, we were having so much fun with it. We didn't want to stop.
Right.
And it seemed like there was a point where it almost felt like we had people, you know, kept wanting to see those videos. So we almost like felt bad if we didn't, you know, put them up, you know.
Yeah, because as we've said before, probably different discussions, you know, we really had a marketing plan. I think a lot of people, they look at the Hickok 45 channel and see the number of viewers and different things, and all the videos, over 1,100 now, that think, wow, they might assume we had some kind of plan, you know, to try to do that or something, you know.
No,
and we really just started putting up a couple of videos, and you know, people kind of watch them, and I think it was part of too, just like I used to write letters to the editor back in the 70s, you know, about guns or different issues, and there was always this magic. You're sitting there, you're scribbling out something, you know, on paper, and you mail it in, and some of your thoughts, and think, well, that'll never get. But then there it is in the paper, you know, one morning when you pull up the Tennessean, and think, wow, you know, I even got 3 stars on a couple of them, you know.
Did you used to read?
That's interesting, that transition from just some stupid things floating around in my head to being, whoa, people can see it, you know. So I understand what it's like to publish a book.
Did you get troll comments back then?
Yeah, really.
Like,
be trolls.
Well,
actually, I did get trolls on the phone because they publish your address.
Oh, man.
I got a couple. Oh, man, I think I may have told you. But anyway, I think the fact there was a little bit of that in the YouTube.
Yeah.
You know, when you do something on video, even if it's not great.
And the feedback, that's what makes it fun.
And you posted it, and wow, this is interesting. This thing called the internet, you can do a little video and put it up there. Because really, we weren't the earliest days of the internet, but still it's fairly early compared.
Early days of YouTube, at least.
Yeah, on YouTube, I meant. And so, you know, people around the country and even beyond can see us doing whatever we're doing with this firearm, and some of them seem to like it, and it's enough, to do more of them. So it was, I guess, it's partly that too.
Yeah, it was almost like we got caught in this vortex that we didn't realize.
Yeah,
we just did it kind of like, oh, this will be interesting, and then it got to be, well, this is kind of fun. Let's keep doing this. This is exciting, and then we kept doing it. It's like, wow, people are really like expecting this, so maybe we should keep it up and keep doing it. And it's still just as fun now as it was then.
Yeah, and we definitely surpassed what we thought we would do. Remember, we really did think. I had them written down. I remember on a piece of paper the videos. Well, okay, we did this Glock video with a bunch of the Glocks, and now we're not talking about the Glocks video. I'm talking about early day. We did a couple of Glocks, and we could do one on lever guns. We could do a video on the single action Army and give a little information about that. But anyway, had a list of about 15 videos that we could do, and that'd pretty much be it.
Yeah,
and that'd be plenty. And I think we even
we saw some other YouTube videos. And we were like, no, wait a minute, like there's like we could do some of this other stuff, like just each
individual
gun.
Yeah. And I remember we talked about this. Should we do just one gun? Who would want to see just one gun? Would there be interest in that?
Well, when we saw some of those other individual ones that we had done, they were doing kind of well, so we were like, let's do that. Let's split these up,
And it took us a while to finally. I think I still get requests for some shotgun or the trap door or something, Springfield, that we grouped it in with some other guns or something. There's for a long time, and I think maybe there's still a little lingering of firearms that I own, that we just did them in a group of guns back in those early days, thinking, well, who'd be interested in a video on just one firearm?
Yeah.
And then so we grouped them together, and still need to break a couple of those out, I think, and do an individual video. But yeah, that was weird. There was no big plan, and we thought that we'll do those and put those up and maybe give some people some information about those guns, since I have these guns and I've been shooting them for a long time. I know a little bit about them, maybe a little more than someone who doesn't have one or just bought one. And not to sound altruistic, but thought that, well, we can give a little bit back. I've been enjoying this hobby my whole life, and just share it a little bit. But my gosh, it's funny, and that's the way most things are that you don't know going in.
Well, some are, but like the style of our videos, which still kind of, I didn't anticipate this, but that kind of, I guess, one of the most unique things about them is the tend to like never edit and just a constant style, because that's one thing I've never really seen anybody try to copy of ours. You don't really see that. And it's funny, it came out of just kind of laziness. Like, we just did it because, that's just how everybody did it at first. And we just never really got around to changing it because it was just easier and we could do more videos that way. And for several months or a year or so, we talked about, like, eventually we're probably, this is getting kind of bigger. We're probably going to want to start, like, editing and thinking about it more, making it a little more professional. Like, we're probably going to want to do that. We had this conversation for a long time.
Get really professional and slick.
Yeah. And then we talked about that for maybe a year. And then finally, there was a point where I remember I was just like, you know what? This is getting to be a pretty big deal. Like, we've got to start doing this. Like, we've got to start making them more professional. And we started remember we mapped, it was going to be a shotgun video.
About it,
We mapped it out. We had all these different plans for how we was going to do it and different scenes and stuff. And then both of us kind of had the same reaction at the same time. We're kind of like,
maybe we don't want to do that.
This doesn't feel right.
People seem to like what we're doing.
Yeah,
and we don't really feel right.
Yeah, it was like, it just didn't feel right.
I tell you, I remember when we talked about that and almost decided to start doing that. I remember thinking, I don't think I'm going to enjoy doing these as much.
Yeah. It seemed like a lot of work too. That was the thing. But then also it was
that's
like.
That's the thing. It was a lot of work for you, and it wouldn't have been as much fun for me. And that's what I tell people pretty often. When we say we really enjoy doing this, we really do, because the way we do them is fun.
Yeah.
It is. It's not exactly like, well, let's just go out to the range today and shoot some, but it's mighty close.
Yeah, there's planning involved, but it's, I don't know, I just really enjoy that way of doing it. It's a little harder on me, where I've got to constantly have the camera for whatever 30 minutes
and know what and try to anticipate.
Yeah, and I've got it so it's like 30 minutes where I can't cough, sneeze, fart, any of that stuff.
That's right.
And it got bugs, mosquitoes on my hands eating me up, and
I know
bees and spiders, and so
you're tough though. So.
But and then for you, it's like, well, you're kind of screwed if you can't think of something to say. But then also, there's give and take with everything. Like, on the camera side of it, like, it's an endurance test for me.
Yeah.
But also, if I, accidentally bump the camera, or there's some kind of weird thing that happens or something, it's not a big deal because it's a long video.
Yeah.
And, people get that it's not edited, so that stuff just happens.
That's
and
what I was going to say.
Same thing for you with the talking.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Yeah, it's a bit of a challenge because you got 30 minutes maybe sometimes, and there's no edit point for me to rethink or stop or what was I going to say. And we rarely have any kind of notes. I just look over them before the video, and okay, here's some point, kind of like I had some points here, which we probably won't talk about. But we have some bullet points and things I want to really try to, touch on these 3 or 4 things, and then whatever else comes to mind. But if I forget something, the viewers are really forgiving because they know, like you say, if I bump the camera or say something this is like kind of like this, this is virtually unedited, and so people know that it's not going to be perfect, and they're forgiving, and it's more natural.
And it's not live as in like a live broadcast, but it still has that same live feel to it. Because we talked about, when we first kind of came to terms with the fact that this is kind of our thing, this is our style, and we there's a point where we were like, we never thought about trying to go away from it again, ever, which I don't know when that was, but a long time ago.
Yeah.
And we just talk about how it's kind of like we kind of pretend that there's an audience there. That's how we do the show, but you're talking to the camera instead of them.
Right.
It's like a live thing. So.
Yeah. This is the way I like to do it. That's just this works out well, and then I think it's good for what we do too, because we are. I don't know if we should use the word reviewer, but we kind of review guns. As I say, we're not really a pure reviewer, probably.
Well, review is relative. I mean, technically, if you're talking about a product and you're giving your opinions, then you're reviewing it.
We're giving our opinion of this gun. That's basically my impressions, your impressions of this firearm.
We're not testing it. We're not like, quote, testing it, and putting it through rigorous tests. We do like a little of that, but you don't have the time. I mean, you'll hear that on the internet. People talk about they test guns and do different things. That again is a very, very relative thing.
It is.
I mean, to me, if you're really going to test a gun, I mean, you've got to have. They don't even talk about testing a gun unless you've got at least 3 or 4 different of the same gun,
right?
Because you got to counter in for anomalies and stuff. And you got to be firing just insane amounts of ammo and doing all these different things.
Yeah.
We don't have time for that. We're trying to put out a volume of content that we can still do with our level of quality and all that.
Give our impressions of this firearm. We have a lot of experience with firearms and what we think about it. That torture testing or how this firearm would hold up to 10,000 rounds or when it's going to break down.
And we might do some of that, but not as the rule. That's more of an exception.
But that's got to be done by that's a different venue really for that. And even when you do that, you're doing one gun, like we said.
Right.
It's just that one gun might not work 500 rounds, but every other gun they make might. So
because no matter how good the gun is, I guarantee you, somewhere on a forum right now, there's a guy with the $3,000 and $3,500 Wilson Combat 1911 who can't get it to work and has problems with it. You know what I mean? Like every gun has lemons that come out.
That's why I try to remind viewers in the videos that you really do need to check the internet, check the forums, Google guns, and just Google whatever it is. Ed Brown 1911 problems or complaints or whatever, and go ahead and see what the complaints are.
Yeah.
And then look at the forums and you see what people are saying in reaction to it or whatever, and you'll begin to get a feel for it. And you're getting it from a lot of people who own those guns.
Lots of different ones.
Yeah, I'm just one guy. You're one guy, with this one firearm. And so no matter what we do with it, we get tested with 20,000 rounds. It's still that one firearm. But anyway, I was going to say, I think the way we do things too is good because of that. Whatever here we are patting ourselves on the back, but I think the style, the type of the process we use, there's a negative. I might forget to share something kind of important sometimes or whatever because it's 20 minutes uncut and all that, and no notes really, and 30 minutes. But I think on the other side, the fact that whatever happens in that video, it's what happened with that gun at that time. If it malfunctions, we don't cut that stuff out. It's there, so you get kind of a valid look, at least a snapshot on that day of that.
Right.
that
and then just because it malfunctions doesn't mean it's a bad gun.
Yeah,
but it means something,
I did a magazine article one time, and really put a lot of work into it. And it was for a smaller Florida-based magazine, and as I was doing it, it's a lot of work. I was enjoying it. Photographs, talk about the gun and. Write about it, and then you helped me. I think remember the photographs of the targets. I shot. Okay, I'm gonna shoot it at. There's a P. There's a gun you like.
It's in my pocket right now.
Pocket gun, yeah. and a shot it at 7 yards and whatever, 10 yards, and then took pictures of the groups and how it did for me at this, all this kind of stuff. And I remember thinking, because we had just started doing the YouTube stuff, that's why they wanted me to do that. I thought, this is kind of fun. And I used to think when I was in the 70s reading gun magazines, oh, wouldn't it be cool to write an article, and get it published in a magazine and everything, and even had some ideas for them and stuff. But as I did that, I thought my thinking had changed. I was thinking, this was interesting to do, but, really, this is not as valid as our YouTube videos.
Right.
I mean, this was the early days.
You can easily make it up. That's the thing with the magazine article.
The groups I took those pictures of, I could have been at 2 yards. I could have done anything. I could have said, hey, John, go out there and shoot some of the best groups you can get at 3 yards on those, and then I'll write up that it was 7 or 10.
Yeah.
How do you know it's valid?
Yeah, you don't.
At all. I mean, once you grow to trust a writer, you assume he's not doing that. But still, what if I had 3 or 4 malfunctions?
Yeah.
I could have just not even happened to mention that in the article.
Magazines are sketchy for sure if you're trying to get realistic information.
Yeah, really. So,
well,
what else? Yeah, we ought to get some questions.
Yeah, we can take some questions.
We run out of. We just got 15 minutes left.
Yeah, if anybody who doesn't mind being on camera, come up here and ask a question. All you got to do is there's a switch on the back of the mic. Just flip it on.
And don't be nervous because you can tell we're not too smart. So just come on up and if you have a question, then we'll try to answer it. No trolls, please.
No, that's fine. We can have those.
Yeah, come on up, man.
Come on up. There's a switch on the opposite side of the mic. Just flip it up.
There you go.
All right. Thank you guys so much for doing this for your fans. You tell us all the time how much you appreciate us, but we really appreciate you too.
Thanks.
So my question is, Hickok, you were a teacher for 20 years, 30 years?
Total 29 years.
29 years.
Total, yeah.
For the teachers in the audience, I wonder if you could give some advice on just basic teaching techniques. What do you do to make sure that your students learn? How do you manage your classroom? Something like that.
Wow. Mainly, I was just mean as a snake. And, I had this big stick I'd carry around and beat them over the head with it. Yeah. Gosh, techniques. I was, just briefly, I was not a genius at that. I'm a genius at most things, but I don't think I was a genius at teaching. I just enjoyed it a lot. I really enjoyed the kids. I thought it was a lot of fun. I left teaching for 10 years and did some other things, came back to it. And when John was born, got off the road. And I just was there because I wanted to be the main thing. And I enjoyed it. I enjoyed middle school more. I was really sick. I enjoyed middle school. And people would ask me, what do you do? I'd be at a shooting match. So what do you do? Because I could shoot reasonably well. So they go, were you a cop or something? Are you in the military? What do you do? Oh, I teach middle school. They'd look at me like, really? You teach? Not only they didn't expect me to be a teacher, but you teach middle school? Are you insane? But I guess I was and am. I enjoyed teaching, and I just I didn't have any special techniques other than I tried to engage the kids, a lot of questions, and there was a lot of back and forth. I taught literature, and I just thoroughly enjoyed, we'd all read the same novel, stories and different things. And then, of course, there's a lot of basics, they got to know, they got to learn it. But I expected them to respond, so I didn't turn into my military self. I expected attention, and respect, and they knew that. But then, on the other hand, I thoroughly enjoyed cutting up with them and having a good time and telling a joke and getting off topic, but then get right back when it was time to get back on topic, and just the basic stuff, common sense stuff, that seemed to work. But I just enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. Nothing. I was not the best teacher. Come on up.
I've got a real simple question.
But make sure you're talking.
We're better with simple questions.
Okay. Do you have any problems with ants at the compound?
No, because we feed them well.
They stay away from the house. They just go down to the range.
Okay, well, that's cool.
They go down there for their nutrients, their sugar water.
Well, you can shoot them too, can't you?
Yeah, that's right. We actually end up, I shouldn't say this, PETA will be after us, but we end up creating funerals for a lot of bees. Because whenever you pick up the 2 liters, there's a lot of dead bees in there.
Oh, I didn't think about bees.
They get in there and they eat the they drink that nourishing the artificial flavoring and sugar, the high fructose corn syrup.
Well, I didn't know if you just used diet soda or.
Well,
I don't think the ants like to diet.
Well, diet soda. Well, I don't know. We just whatever's whatever's cheapest.
Yeah, it's by the
Okay,
cheapest.
all right, that's it, man.
I thought you were asking about the, do we buy those containers and fill? People have asked if we can't fill those up and put food coloring in them, and it's actually cheaper to go spend
buy 'em.
80
No, the
cents
way-
on it.
Yeah,
The
and
way
plus
they
we're
explode, they gotta have pressure.
doing good things, saving people from diabetes.
There you go.
That's
Doing
it.
your part and feeding the ants.
That's right.
Giving the ants diabetes.
Anybody else? Matthew, you were going to have a question. You got a question? I'm sorry. Okay.
What is your favorite firearm of all time to shoot?
Of all time, I get it a lot. I have so many. It's possibly, I'll say possibly, a Colt single action Army. Okay. A single action 45. It might be my very favorite. Yeah. But I could list about 10 others that are mighty close. What's your favorite?
Fully customized Ruger 1022.
All right. Sounds like fun. You find any ammo? A little bit, huh?
Anybody else?
Go ahead.
Question?
Yeah, and then we'll get you. He'll come up next.
Well, I'm a subscriber to YouTube, and I was wondering, you guys have been shooting for quite some time, and do you think that you're ever going to run out of guns to shoot at this moment? Yeah.
I guess not. Like we were saying earlier, we thought, well, we could do about 15 videos with the guns we have and everything, but there's so many firearms. I have a list of just from your all's recommendations, maybe some people in this room that have recommended, and I'll write them down, and even if I don't know what they are, sometimes I'll just write them down. So I've got a lot of those guns. Then the more I hear them, people recommend them or want to see them.
There's more new ones coming out every year that we could probably, much less all the old ones that we haven't done yet.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Will you ever do like NFA items and stuff like that? Like
We've done some of that.
Going into like the Class 3 stuff.
We've done several of those.
We've done like the Uzis. We did a Mac 11. Done like a full auto AR lower and. What else? The
MP40.
The MP40, MP5. Not a Thompson yet. That's one on the list, though.
Yeah, we want to do one of those. Okay. We've done even a Glock 18 briefly.
Yeah, we might have a saw coming up soon.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, in fact, through Buds, we might be doing a video on one of those. It'd be hard to run out of choices because there's so many guns coming out every day, and we don't even focus just on the new guns, as you all know. And with some viewers, maybe a few, that's a little frustrating because we'll when are you going to finally get around to this new gun that's come out or something? And meanwhile, we're doing a Chapter 2 on a Garand or some older gun.
It takes time
because we like those old guns, and part of what we do is the reason we started, and from the very beginning, we just like to shoot, and our favorite firearms are our favorite firearms, and there are a lot of your favorite firearms, and there's many people out there who would probably like us to do about a Chapter 3, a Chapter 4, Chapter 5, Chapter 6 on an M1 Garand as do anything else.
Well, let's get some more questions while we're on the
No,
radio
we don't want any more questions.
Yeah. Anybody else a question? Come up to the mic.
What's your first gun that you had?
First gun that I've ever had that was mine, it was the 22 rifle that you might have seen in the video, the Ward's Western Field. They were actually made by Mossberg, I believe, but it was bought at Montgomery Ward's, and we have a video on it. And in that video, I explained that Dad gave it to me. It's a 22 bolt action rifle. It's kind of heavy, but it's a big old 22 long rifle. What's your name?
Cade.
Say it again.
Hey.
Cade.
Okay. Hank?
Cade.
Cade. Okay. Well, good to meet you, man. Do you like to shoot?
Yeah.
Do you? What do you shoot?
I shoot a BB gun.
A BB gun. That's a good place to start, man. Are you pretty good with it?
Yeah.
I'll bet you are. Does your dad help you?
No.
Is your dad useless? No. Does your dad have too many guns?
Yeah.
I knew it. That's great. Well, thank you for the question, guy.
Yeah, thanks. Anybody else? Come on up. Talk to
See,
him
he
for a
wasn't
minute.
afraid. Don't be shy. Any of you women have a question? Come on. I know what your question would be. How do I get my husband to quit buying guns? Right?
You can grab if you grab the mic, you can
pull it
lay
down.
Who inspired you to start shooting?
Inspired me? I don't know. I think it was in my blood.
John Wayne.
Yeah. My uncle, I had an uncle, and we lived on a farm when I was, say, like Matthew's age and everything, and Dad had a couple of 22s, but I had an uncle who unfortunately was killed on a tractor. Probably he was like 40. He seemed like ancient to me at the time. He's probably about 40, 45. He had a gun collection, and Uncle Bavis, and I just loved going to his place and seeing back then more people kept them in a gun case, and displayed. And he had Colt 45s lying there and revolvers, rifles, and I would just stand and look at them. Wow, I love these. I want some of these sometime. So I think it was him. Yeah. So do you shoot? What do you shoot?
Well, I hardly shoot, and I haven't shot something in a long time. So.
Yeah, but you're planning to sometime, right? Okay, good. Well, good to meet you. Glad you came by. Anybody else?
Come on up.
Come on, don't be shy.
Come on to the mic.
Hey, how you doing? First off, I'm the one that came all the way from Hammond, Indiana, 8 hours.
Oh, well, good to see you.
Yes,
Yeah.
and the one that's hiding, she don't want to be seen. She also came with me.
All right, from Indiana.
Indiana.
How
right
sick
by
are
Chicago.
you? Wow.
Yeah. I guess the main question I have is like, how did you get started? I mean, because go from a video, that to 1.6 million, and actually your inspiration goes not only in this country, across the world. I mean, stop and think about that. I mean, I've learned so much from you. A lot of people in the 2A community, and also you've inspired the 2A community out there. Especially I'm right by the border of Chicago, and enough said. I mean, out there it's terrible. You crossed into Indiana, it's better, obviously, but you've inspired a lot of people, especially in the 2A community. Just want to let you guys know.
Well, thank you. We appreciate that.
Also with your informative videos, it goes beyond what you help with, shooting and technique and cleaning. Both of you there's given us hope out there.
Well, thank you. We appreciate it. We hope we're doing our part.
I mean, because we all know the way the government's working now, what they're trying to do, and unsuccessfully, but they're not.
Wait, what are they trying to do?
Well, they're trying. They would like to put stores like this out of business. So obviously.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. Well, it's a testament to you all that it has grown the way it has, because, again, it's not slick. And people who just like firearms and like to see them and learn about them. It's you all that make the channel, really. We just sort of go out there and shoot and film.
We do it the way we like it, and I'm glad that other people like it. We don't have to do it in a way that we don't enjoy doing it. You know,
so, I mean, we compliment you guys, but we really, really mean it, because you all must have a mindset that's similar to ours. So you must be brilliant. You're like us. I mean, really, you apparently accept the way we do things, and we do it a little bit differently. So we compliment you. We're glad you all are out there, because you put up with the way we do it, I guess is how we say it. I don't know how to say it, but that's the reason it grew, because there's so many of you watching them, and I don't know. You
guys grew it. We didn't grow it.
Yeah. We talked earlier about we just kind of go out there and do it. We make a little preparation, but we don't try to make them slick or be overly dramatic, or anything like that. And so I think it's a testament to people that just want to learn about firearms in kind of a calm way, and don't need all the drama, and don't need something else blowing up every 2 minutes, So I think it's a compliment to the viewers, really. And I mean that, Yeah. And we all like to see dramatic things, but we're just proud that there's that many people that enjoy watching us, because we're not that dramatic, are we? John's kind of dramatic. I mean, look at him.
I was liking when you came. I was like, all right, man. John's
I try to get him in more videos, and and of course we got the Hickok 45 and Son channel, and John's doing a lot there, and he's in a lot of the other videos here and there. But we probably need to get him more at the end or somewhere in the regular videos. I don't know. John has shot so much, and he's around guns, has been his whole life, more than most people his age, for sure, that whatever he thinks about a firearm is as valid as what I think about it, I think. So.
One last question. Your favorite EDC?
What's that stand for?
Anti-Video Carry. That's what we call it back home.
I was just messing with you.
Mine is Converse shoes.
Yeah. I like that.
Yeah, I don't like. It depends on the weather and what I'm wearing. Lately, it has been I think most people that watch know I like a little PM9. I like a little J-frame revolvers, but it's lately been a Glock 43 or a Glock 42, depending on what I'm wearing. And as we've talked about before, we tend to change, but it's just right now. That's what I carry mostly. Or if it's a belt gun, it's back into a Glock 19 or something like that. Yeah. Or a Desert Eagle I carry quite often in my shoulder holster.
I always tell people is more important than what you carry is just that you do every day.
That's right.
Amen. Well, thanks for your time, gentlemen. And
appreciate it.
Better to have a gun than not need it.
That whole thing.
Yeah, that whole thing. Better to have it, not need it, than need it, not have it.
They got it. They already know.
Like John Wayne. Who was that said that? Oh, it was Gus.
I thought you came up with that.
The Lonesome Dove.
I
did originally, and they took it from me.
When I was a kid, you told me that you came up with that.
I know. When he was young, no matter what it was, bird in the hand's worth two in the bush. All those, whenever those phrases, those cliches would come up, I would tell him, I made that up, John. You notice how people use that still? I would tell my students the same thing. About half of them would believe it. Right, Matthew, you're in 8th grade. You know how gullible your classmates are? Say, you're not like that, but you know how they are? Can you imagine me teaching? I had so much fun with them because the gullibility factor is like, whoa, up there. I'm sorry, I was ignoring you.
Thanks for your time, gentlemen. Thanks.
No, we appreciate
Thanks for your channel and everything.
We appreciate the compliments. And how far you drove? How far did you drive?
8 hours. Roughly, it was like an 8-hour drive. We stopped a couple of times here and there, but just.
Was it just to be here for this?
Yeah.
How sick are you?
That's what she keeps telling me. She keeps telling me I'm a mental case.
Wow.
So, yeah.
We got a guy from Louisiana too.
Oh, yeah.
We got a contest here now. Who's the sickest? How far did you drive? 9 hours.
I got beat.
He's a little sicker, maybe. You said 8. We get the sicko award. That's really moving when you guys come that far just to see us. I don't know what it says.
I like that little play on words you just did there. I caught that.
What'd I say?
You didn't catch it?
It was accidental.
You said it's very moving when people come from that far.
No, it is. No, it really is, and it really speaks more of you. It's more of a indictment of you than a compliment. No, we appreciate it.
Yeah,
not a problem. We appreciate what you do for us.
Thank you.
Well, we still got time for some more questions.
We got one or two, and then we'll do our.
If anybody else wants to come up to the mic.
Part of what we want to start with on the meet and greet is kind of a Q&A and see who has questions and that, so we can get a couple of those here. Anybody else have one? Maybe one you think a lot of people are wanting to hear the answer to.
Yeah, because this will be aired, so.
Yeah, or that a lot of people probably wondering about or something.
All right, come on.
Yeah, you got one? Come on.
Are you planning on just staying?
You can tilt the.
Oh,
give him a hard time.
Are you planning on just staying the course, or is there a direction you're looking to go with all this?
Well, we're trying to get into the soap opera market. We're talking with NBC right now, and I don't know.
What turn?
Yeah. I don't. Yeah, we. It probably would not be a wise thing to change directions in a big way because, we like what we're doing, and enough people, seem to enjoy it. And there are different opportunities. That might pop up, little things here and there.
We always like to try new things, like with the Deep Woods thoughts and different things like that.
The channel has evolved. We've done some different things like that. In this, we didn't do these kinds of things at first, and things that sound interesting to us, we think some of the viewers might like. We definitely don't sit around thinking, well, no, we couldn't do that because some people wouldn't like it. Because of the radio shows and things like that, not as many people watch shows as do a gun review, for example. But that's not a reason not to do it, because we have a lot of folks like these weirdos that drove so far. They will actually come and they probably even sit at home and listen to a radio show. Really. They don't have a lot of life, and so they listen to us sit around and talk like this, right? Come on, admit it. And so we feel like we owe a little special something more to you really loyal viewers, so. And it's okay if everybody doesn't like something we do,
Right.
The gun reviews are the main thing. So.
Right, and it's fun, and also it gives more background. If you have a troll or get like a troll comment or something like that, and it's like I don't feel bad just blocking some guy because if you listen to the radio shows or more of that stuff, you would get why I said that or why I think that way or so
you understand our motivation if you listen to many of these. You understand where we're coming from. You know more about my background and John's background, what we do, why we do it, and someone just wanders into the channel and they're looking for trouble anyway, and they see a video and they want to. We don't worry about that too much. It's so. Any more questions?
Anybody else?
Come on.
Come on up to the mic.
Any more dumb questions? Come on.
Yep.
We got lots of stupid answers. There we go.
All I want to know if you guys, you do a lot of gun stuff, with, showing people how to operate the guns and stuff. I really want to know when you guys are going to have a segment on safes, how people should store their firearms rather than just keep them out and about for people to look at, have in the house, just keeping them safe. Because I feel like that's like the number one problem we have in the United States is putting the gun away first so it doesn't get obtained by somebody else.
Right. On gun safes?
Well, we've done like stuff on the small safety, like the little safes, put your finger on, the little buttons. We've done stuff like that, but yeah, that would be something good to do, like a more comprehensive thing on different ways to store your guns.
Yeah, we may do that. We got one called gun safety, or the child gun safety, I think.
Yeah.
And I've got the little quick release safe out on the shooting table.
And even hiding guns, is an interesting thing too.
It's a lot of questions about where you put a shotgun at when you're traveling on a motorcycle and stuff like that. You look like a Terminator or something.
Yeah, that's true.
You got to have the 1887 in a scabbard.
Yeah, that's a good suggestion. Thanks.
Thank you.
And then, and of course, there are a lot of things. We get suggestions and questions, lots of them every day, and then the things that people would like to see us do. And sometimes it's something that, well, we sort of don't do that much, or we don't want to get too scattered either. And try to be everything to everybody. As you know, whatever you're doing, if you really enjoy it, you're probably good at it. And we want to stick with our bread and butter mostly, things that we just like to do the most. And but still, that doesn't mean we won't try something different.
Yeah. So if anybody else has any more questions, come on up because we're probably going to wrap this up.
Yeah, this is your last call now. If you're sitting back there shy and afraid,
last chance.
People are going to make fun of you for asking a dumb question.
A request. Already talked to Dad about this. Do you think you guys will be getting a Colt Defender anytime soon?
We probably will.
We could get one.
Probably will. I've had a lot of requests for that, and I think I even looked at the Bud's website a week or so ago looking for one, and we'll probably request one of those.
Love to see it. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, well, let's go ahead and wrap it up, and then
we'll wrap this
close
up.
Out the show, and then we'll
start the next segment here.
So that's the show, and hope everybody enjoyed it and stuff. And
it's been really great here. Yeah, while we're on the air and the podcast air, whatever that is. We this has been a little different because we have I don't know what we got 100 people or more standing around looking at us. And with funny looks on their faces, kind of. Some of them, I think, probably are just people that wandered into the gun shop today, and they're wondering. They didn't know anything about this. A few of them probably they're thinking, "Okay, what's going on? But who are those guys? Why are they talking on a radio show or something?"
And you know what? These people have still not moved back here. Still, since we've been here, that guy still has that same look on his face.
That's right. This guy here, he's a terrible gun salesman. He's all this time he's not sold that gun to those people.
Yeah, he hasn't. This guy, he's still not sure if he wants to buy that gun.
They didn't pass the credit check or something.
And she who's this about to pass out or something, leaning against the counter?
No. So we've enjoyed being here on the radio at the gun shop. Great ambiance, great environment.
Oh yeah, awesome shop. Definitely, if you're in the Sevierville area, come check it out.
It's great. Again, it's a little strange with a lot of people. We're not used to having an audience for the radio shows. That's a little weird. If we sounded awkward or something, blame it on that.
Yeah, I'm sure it was mostly you that sounded awkward.
I'm always awkward. I'm the king of awkward.
But really, though, this is a cool spot. If anyone comes, because from all around the world, people will come to Gatlinburg to see the mountains and stuff. We get desensitized to it because we're so close when we come out here and stuff.
Yeah, we're looking for gun shops when we come up here.
Yeah, but the mountains are pretty amazing. If you don't live in that kind of area or not around it, it's Smoky Mountains is a great area, and it's an awesome area. There's some cool tourist stuff. There's some lame tourist stuff, but this section here where you got Bud's Gun Shop and Smoky Mountain Knife Works and all these different Coleman store, and there's a lot of cool stuff here.
It's the ultimate spot, right?
Yeah, but don't buy a gun from Smoky Mountain. You got to buy it over here.
Yeah, buy it here at Bud's.
Maybe look at it over there, but then come over here and buy it.
That's right, because again, they're one of our major sponsors, and we appreciate their help, and so we hope you appreciate them because they do a lot for us.
And I was with Smoky Mountain Knife Works. I was confused earlier. I'm not sure if they're the largest knife shop, or are they a shop that has the largest knife in the world? I'm still not clear on that. I need to ask them and see.
Maybe both.
Yeah.
We're getting silly now.
All right. Well, I'll try to, get better with the shows, keeping them up more often. I've been really busy lately because of the comedy stuff and all that. And then I'll get back on that and keep having Derek come out and do the shows. I think you're going to probably be on another one soon. So.
Yeah.
we'll make it happen. So
yeah, we'll get off the air and we'll actually really meet and greet these people here who are here
so
for a meet.
We'll talk to everybody listening right now. We'll talk to you later.
Yeah. Bye-bye. All right. We'd like to thank one of our sponsors, SDI, the Sonoran Desert Institute. SDI has fully accredited distance learning programs where you can get certified in gunsmithing or even an associate's degree in firearms technology. Of course, the study includes hands-on experience, which is important, of course. So check it out. Go to sdi.edu or just click on the link in the description. Okay. And also, we'd like to remind you to check out the Hickok 45 Facebook page and the Hickok 45 and Son channel and its Facebook page, as well as Gun Culture Radio on iTunes. Now remember all this, because I'm coming to your house randomly over the next year or two to give you a quiz on it, okay? Thank you.